Hello, I'm Joanne Harris, and I'm here to present my new book, A Narrow Door, which is coming out in autumn. It's a psychological thriller set in the same world as Gentlemen and Players and Different Class, set in the failing, creaking boys' grammar school of St Oswald's, and featuring the old Latin master Roy Straightley, who is terribly resistant to change, to emails, to whiteboards, to women, which is a pity because this year he has a new head, a headmistress for the first time in St Oswald's history. He knows her from before and she is a dangerous woman. She is a new broom. She has reshaped the school, has made it co-ed, and represents a great deal of dangerous change. However, she's also got a rather murky, sinister past, and when one of Roy's boys discovers a body, and a rather old body, in the earthworks of a new building in St Oswald's, this old story comes out, and Roy finds that he is linked to it in more ways than one, and as the story develops, we will realise exactly how far Rebecca Buckfast has come to be headmistress of St Oswald's, and how much she has to lose if the truth is found out. I'm going to read you a little bit from the opening of the book so that you can get her voice. I love my villains, and this one I love particularly for all kinds of reasons. Here she is. I often find that men like you underestimate women like me. You think we must be damaged somehow, that we seek power to compensate for some real or imagined injustice, that we must hate men for the way they have excluded women from their boys' clubs, holding them back, abusing them, exploiting them for centuries. Well, yes, you may have a point. Some things make a woman fight back. And some things, though they challenge us, only make us stronger. A woman headmaster. To you it must seem a reversal of everything you believe. How did we come to this, you ask? How has the world been so overturned? Women, like me, you tell yourself, should be this way for a reason. Our drive to succeed comes from weakness, you think. Rage, or hate, or fear, or insecurity. And that's why I'll win. Because you believe in the essential weakness of women in authority. But that's where you're wrong, Mr. Straightley. I have no insecurities. But for one early incident, my childhood was uneventful. My sexual partners have been dull to the point of uniformity. Except for Johnny Harrington, whom I fucked between the ages of 16 and 16 and a half, and who gave me a child, as well as the dubious novelty of having fucked, if not a murderer, then at least the next best thing. Otherwise, he too was bland, arrogant and predictable, riding on his privilege all the way to the headship. But sitting in my office now, the office that once was his, drinking coffee from his machine, reading the names on the honours boards that decorate the panelled walls, I feel a sense of rightness. This is my office. This is my desk, my orchids on the window ledge, my parking space underneath the window. My coffee machine, my cup, my school. I earned this job. I belong here, and I have nothing more to prove. St Oswald's, with all its history, with all its relentless patriarchal baggage, is mine. And today I sit in the headmaster's chair, and will stand at the lectern this morning in assembly as the new head, a title that in 500 years has never gone to a woman before, and address a school filled with boys and girls, and lead them out of the wilderness. An old St Oswald's proverb goes, "It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a woman to enter these gates. Well, not only have I entered, but now the gates are my gates, and the rules are my rules. The mistake you made was one of scale. Men always do, used as they are to taking the main entrance. Women must be more discreet. All we need is a narrow door. And when we have crept in unseen like a spider through a keyhole, we spin ourselves an empire of silk and fill you with astonishment. I'm really very fond of you. Don't think that because I opposed you last year, I don't have a lot of respect for you. But you are part of the old school, and I belong to the future. I don't suppose you know what that's like. You've always been part of St. Oswald's. Man and boy, you always belonged. You never needed the narrow door. And even after what happened last year, you still believe I have a heart. How little you know me, Straightley. I have survived more setbacks than you could ever imagine. I had my daughter at 17 without ever naming the father. I entered teaching at 23 in a school very like St. Oswald's. I fought for my place every step of the way through prejudice, sexism and judgment. I have survived the death of a spouse, an elder sibling, a love affair. I have seen my parents die, my daughter move to America. I have committed 2 murders, one a crime of passion, the other a crime of convenience. I am 43 years old, and finally I am starting to reap the harvest my ambitions have sown. This is my time, Mr. Straightley. And no, I am not damaged. I am whole.